Hello folks, I've got an embarrassing story. A couple of weeks ago I was leafing through AliExpress, as I do, and I saw this lovely watch, which is a little bit more expensive than I normally buy for the channel. But I thought, absolutely fantastic. A retro Flyback Chronograph and an original design for a change. Oh wow. So anyway, I got myself this and was absolutely stunned when it arrived. However, then I discovered about Blancpain. Well, I knew about Blancpain, one of the oldest watch manufacturers. In fact, I think it is the oldest watch manufacturer in the world. But I didn't know about the Flight Commander. Anyway, I've done a lot better than a Flight Commander, because this one is a Galaxy Commander. Let's have a look. Well, here we have the package that the watch came in. Now, it took 11 days, which seems to be the standard for AliExpress from China to the UK, so no complaints there. And the watch's manufacturer's logos on it. Hruodland, I'm going to call this. I'm not really sure how to pronounce Hruodland, but I'm going to call this watch, for the rest of this review, I'm going to call it the Hruodland. And you'll have seen these cases before on reviews of, or indeed if you bought, things like Addy's dives, various other watches. Highly protective, but there is a little surprise. There is something a little unusual here with this watch's packaging. Inside, you can see it's nicely cushioned and protected. And look at that, an actual stamped and properly signed warranty card. Now, with the difficulties of claiming on a warranty from China, I don't know if one would ever use such a thing, but it's a really refreshing change to find an actual real warranty card in with a watch. This was just something that the watch was wrapped around, and you also get a little tool for dealing with bracelets and straps. A bracelet adjustment tool. You see it's got the straight bit on one end and the little fork on the other, which is a nice little touch. Anyway, that's enough to say about the packaging. We're not here to review packaging, but it is very nice. Now, here is the watch. Now, I was really surprised when the watch arrived, because the quality of that leather strap is actually very high. Now, it doesn't have genuine leather stamped on it anywhere, but I can assure you that the watch strap smells like a piece of cowhide. It's a really, really nice strap. Now, you see where I've got some little marks in it, and a strap like this is supposed to have a distressed look, so it's going to have a distressed look. I've been wearing the watch now and using it for about a month, and absolutely lovely. Now, have a look here at the bezel. Quite a nice action. It sounds very good on the face of it, but here we come to the second fault of the watch. Now, I'll mention the first fault later, right? Well, I actually already have in the introduction. I think the name Flight Galaxy Command is really cheesy, and I wish they had chosen something a little more subtle. But the bezel goes round nicely, but you see there's back play. Now, it only goes back probably about half a minute's worth. So to set it, you wouldn't do it that way. You would go a little beyond and then push back slightly. But it's a unidirectional bezel, and importantly, you'll notice that it's actually a countdown bezel. Now, the reason for this is that this watch is based on a Flieger. It's a pilot's watch. And it's far more useful for a pilot to set, well, he knows if he's flying by chart that he has to fly for 15 minutes at his speed. So what he does is he sets the watch to 15 minutes, and when it reaches the index marker, he knows that's 15 minutes elapsed time, and it's time to change course. Not quite the same as a diver, who needs to know how many minutes he's been under. Now you see this sort of thing as well with the Tudor Pelagos, the Marine Nationale one, which has the fixed lugs. Anyway, that's what it's for, that's the reason for it. Now, lovely domed crystal here. Now, I've seen one advertisement for the watch that says that it's a sapphire. I'm not going to bet on that. It didn't claim it was a sapphire on the advert on AliExpress, so I'm assuming that's mineral. But it is really beautiful nonetheless. It's a really, really nice domed crystal. As I said, the leather strap is of very high quality. Very good. Very, very good. And here's on the back we have an aircraft embossed on the back. Noctilucence, referring to the Lume, which is really good on this watch, and water resistance, more of which later. The watch does not have running seconds. It has one of these Seiko VK movements in it, Mecha Quartz as they call it. I'll show you in operation this chronograph. As you can see, it looks like a mechanical chronograph ticking around. And we stop the chronograph, and when we press the reset button, it flies back to place. So this is what they call a flyback chronograph, but it's a quartz one, not a mechanical one. Now I would advise, there is a very, very similar watch on sale on AliExpress just now, which has a seagull mechanical hand-wound chronograph in it. Now, movement in it. Now that sounds really romantic and great, but in function you wouldn't be able to tell the difference, because the watch looks exactly the same as this. There is no running seconds to give away its quartz nature. When the chronograph is running, it looks mechanical. It flies back in exactly the same way as the mechanical one does, but you have quartz reliability here, and you don't have the servicing costs associated with a column wheel chronograph movement if it ever goes wrong, or actually when it needs serviced. Unless you're paying a lot of money for a mechanical chronograph, I would steer clear of them, because the cost of servicing will exceed the cost of the unit, making the watch essentially disposable if you have any common sense. Anyway, this is a Seiko VK quartz movement in it. So it's reliable, has a long battery life, and it doesn't impede the beauty of the watch at all by giving away its quartz roots. I mean, quartz isn't written anywhere there on the dial, and what we have is a tachymeter graduated index round there, and we have a working bezel, which is actually really sweet apart from that half click back play on it. We've got a stainless steel case, we've got a domed crystal, and we've got a good quality leather strap. Now on the watch, the antiquified lume is highly legible at night, and the lume on the bezel is also highly visible and very good. It lasts for a good long time. So the watch is well lumed as well. But I think the best thing about this is, being a retro chronograph, it appeals to a particular taste, and I think it does that really, really well. I think it's a fantastic looking watch, and it's really nicely made. The quality here of the finish all around the watch is really good, with the brushed sides, polished chamfered edges, brushed tops, a really nice case back, really, really nice. I mean, I think that's very well printed. Okay, the vital statistics of the watch. It weighs 73 grams. The thickness is 12.2 millimeters. The diagonal measurement there is 40.5 millimeters, and the length from lug tip to lug tip is 48.5mm. There's a claim of 100 metres of water resistance, but I wouldn't believe that. Look at those pushers. It's a chronograph. Don't go swimming with a chronograph in any way. It's got a leather strap. There is also a claim that the crystal could be a sapphire. I'm not sure if I believe that. I don't know. I don't have the means to test that. And that's a ceramic bezel insert, a lumed ceramic bezel insert. Now we'll have a look at the lume. Here we can see the Lume Shot. As you can see, as promised, the ceramic bezel is lumed. And those indices and hands show up very clearly. Now I can testify, having worn the watch for a while, that lume does last. And if you're waking up in the small hours wearing your watch, you will be able to read the time. It fades like all lume does, but it is really, really good and excellent for the price. Now it's outdoor wrist rolling in the sunshine time. You really get an impression how pretty this watch is, and that's actually its major selling point. Now I'm a great fan of a busy dial. I'm anti-minimalist and I like retro. So this is an absolutely beautiful watch for me, and I'm really pleased that I bought it. And I think it's well worth the 150 odd pounds that I paid for it when you add tax in. What the watch is a homage to Blancpain's own homage to their Air Command watch, which was from the late 50s, and they only made a few prototypes for the US Air Force, and the watch didn't get selected. Perhaps because they only built 12 of these, one went and sold at auction for £110,000. So you can get a Hruodland for a lot less than that. Hope you've enjoyed looking at this wee watch with me. It's really nice, quite a good purchase. As I say, a little bit more expensive than I usually look at, being a cheap watch chap, but I think it's well within the budget range. Anyway, if you did enjoy this, please like and subscribe, and come back for the next video where I'll be looking at the Casio World Time, sometimes called the Casio Royale. So until the next time, cheerio for now.